Thank you, Bob, and good morning, everyone. Very encouraged to be here today. Absolutely a topic that is long overdue to have a very substantive conversation. We're talking about energy and the environment and the nexus. In fact, if conservation does not sit within conservative principles, then words have no meaning at all. As somebody who retired from the Army not quite 5 years ago, a frustration I've had is I often see, too often, I see the left and right, they talk past each other. The right will say, well, the left doesn't understand. We have this deficit, and we're going to leave a mountain of debt on our children and future generations. And the left says, well, the right, they just don't understand. We're going to leave an earth that's not inhabitable for our children. The one thing that they have in common is we're all caring about the next generation. We absolutely can find a way to get on the same ground together. And what really is needed is leadership to do that. In the topic for today, when you talk about energy and the environment, I grew up in a working class family. My dad was a mechanic in the building trades, and we had some good times when Dad was working. He had a flourishing living wage. But when he was laid off, things were tough for us, and we certainly were impacted by the energy cost spike of the late 1970s. So this is something that really resonates for me when I see what happens to working class families, and when they end up putting up their disposable income in the gas tank or to heat their home. Our family went through some tough choices. I certainly don't recommend this, but my dad, to get us through the winter, got a kerosene heater and put it in about the center of the home, which happened to be the kitchen. And you may know that when you bump into a kerosene heater, it's not good. It's no good. I mean, it stinks up the house. And our kid, I was the oldest of 4 kids, and I just put the coat on and went outside because it just wasn't worth dealing with Dad's reaction to that. So, but I tell you this because I truly believe we can balance these matters. We do have to address the fact that there are current needs and there are future needs, and we have to reconcile the two. And we have to recognize that, for working class families, we've got to find, and small businesses, of course, we've got to find ways to lower energy costs at the same time ensuring that our actions, that we're thinking about future generations and ensuring we have an inhabitable earth going forward. And so, for me, that means, and I'll just echo some of the policy points that the senator made, I do support expanded exploration. I noted with interest that the New York Times even pointed out that we've lowered our energy costs in part because of expanded supply. And of course, politically, that means everyone deserves some credit, including the President of the United States, that he took some action to make that happen. I think that's part of what we need in the political discourse now, is to sort of take the temperature down, if you will, and just recognize that, whatever party you may be in, we're all Americans first, and we're all in it to solve this and to work on these complex issues. And so I do support the XL pipeline as well, and with the idea that we're trying to expand supply and ultimately to have what we hope is a positive impact on costs. But at the same time, I don't accept that this is the best place that we can be. This is a country that has shown time and time again that we're capable of doing hard things, put a man on the moon. And now we've got a program called the Sunshot, not the Moonshot, but the Sunshot program, with a very ambitious goal to drive the total cost of photovoltaics down to 9 cents per kilowatt hour. And it is possible. I believe that it's possible. You take a look at your iPhone or your iPad now, and to know that the computing power in your phone is greater than the power we had of the first vehicle that went to the moon. And look, the reason why I'm optimistic is we're using some of the same approaches and some of the same engineers that brought us the iPhone and the iPad. And we're talking about now nanotechnology properties, coatings, composites. And also we're working with experiments with substitute materials for the photovoltaics. And that combination will most certainly drive down the cost for photovoltaics. Even if we don't reach 9 cents, it's going to change. I think it has the real chance to democratize energy. We're a working class family that, of course, that home is part of the American dream. The next time that they have to reshingle their roof, that they would have the opportunity to have potentially solar power in the shingles, which we have now, but the issue is cost. If we can find ways to drive down that cost, manufacturing and installation, driving down that cost, that would be accessible to a working class family. This will help put more in their pocket, which actually is a private sector stimulus for the economy. It's also important to our environment, and as the senator was alluding to, will also positively impact our foreign policy. And I stand before you as a guy who spent 4 tours in Iraq, in part, let's be candid, in part to the reliance that we had on other energy sources. So, look, in the Congress, what this has meant in terms of action is 59 votes I've taken to either protect or strengthen the energy efficiency and renewable energy account. Proud of the work that's being done, including in my area, on research, development, and prototyping for renewable energy. We have the College of Nanoscale in Albany. We've brought some of the major companies that are in this space, that are in the Albany area, and I believe we have reason for optimism going forward. I'm also very interested in exploring and having us reach potential in terms of microgrids going forward. I think that will help us, particularly with renewable energy, but I also think it's empowering. It's empowering to individuals, families, and communities. I am concerned about some of the consolidation in the utilities and would like to see, I think we can have greater realization through microgrids. Look, emissions is something we've got to tackle. We've got to be smart about the way we do it. But look, you know, the fact of the matter is we've cut emissions by half in 9 years. We've got a 2009 benchmark, and we have a goal by 2030 of reducing it by 30%, and we're halfway there. So, you know, I think that what we ought to be doing is taking a hard look at the details. Too often we politicize right from the very start any kind of proposal. We ought to ask the question, is this possible? Can we do this in a manner that will help us continue to get better? The senator mentioned scrubbing, low sulfur technologies. We know that we can do this. We've proven we can do it. I live in New York, where our state was visited with acid rain, and we've significantly reduced that through some of these technologies. So what I want to do about it going forward is there's a couple of initiatives my office we want to lead on. The first one is a recognition that, in fact, we are dealing with changing weather patterns. My district has been hit with 3 500-year floods in the last several years. So either you believe that we had a 1 in over 100 million probability that occurred, or you believe, as I do, that there's a new normal. And we have changing weather patterns, and we have climate change. This is the science. I hope that my party, that we will come to be comfortable with this, because we have to operate in the realm of knowledge and science. And I still think we can bring forward conservative solutions to this, absolutely, but we have to recognize the reality. So I will be bringing forward a bill, a resolution, that states as such, with really the intent of rallying us, to hearken us to our best sense, our ability to overcome hard challenges. But then I want to follow that up with somewhat of a symbolic bill, but important, I think, of recognizing the challenges ahead of us. Follow that up with more investment in the renewable energy sources. And, you know, I think that we have some pay-fors there that we can move into this account, and particularly if we focus this, I think that we can see relatively near-term results, which will help with the cost, which is really what we're talking about here. Conservation. Senator touched on this as well. Look, I'm on the Ag Committee. We strengthened the title in the Farm Bill that helps conservation. It's really important. It's important for all the right reasons. It's important for our economy. In upstate New York, agriculture writ large is the #1 driver of our local economy. And you look at rural America, when you broadly define agriculture, it's a major driver still, even though, you know, less than 1% of the people, 320 million Americans, are actually farmers. When you look at how the economy is structured, agriculture plays a huge role. Agritourism, closely related, and what's at the nexus of agriculture and tourism? Conservation. And so we strengthen this title. I think it's going to be important for us in upstate New York. It's going to be good for rural America. And I would also echo the need to reauthorize the Land and Water Conservation Fund. Certainly we can improve, and our office has helped on this score in a number of factors, including in the Farm Bill, improving the conservation title. Of course, we consolidated. We took 23 programs down to 13, and we did it with the support of the conservation community. because we reinvested those monies back into conservation, but we improved our programs. And I think we can do this as well with the Land and Water Conservation Fund, strengthen it going forward, and I think that will be a very important piece for us as we proceed. So let me just end where I began in saying that this enterprise here, this work that we do together to lower energy costs while preserving our environment, I think is essentially an American problem. It's not a partisan issue. It's not a Republican. It's not a Democratic issue. It's one for all of us to tackle. And I truly believe that by working together, we can absolutely make progress on that. So towards that end, I was very excited to get this invite here today. It's an honor to be with you. I appreciate your commitment to this cause that we share, and I think I'm going to have time to participate in the Q&A. So thank you very much. God bless you. Thank you.